Alrighty. Yes, guys, we are back again. Another session on the charts. But today I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm going to look back at yesterday's session, and we're going to look at how I turned a losing trade into a winning trade, or how I got there in the first place. I was winning, then I was losing, and then I was winning again. And so we're going to talk a little bit about psychology. At the same time, talk about how to stay cool in order to make the most out of your trading day. Just because you lose a trade for the day does not mean the day itself has to be a loser. All right. So a losing trade doesn't mean a losing day. Right. So I'm here today really just to break that down and hopefully kind of get through to you, to encourage you as well, to let you know that, listen, just because you take a loser doesn't mean the day itself has to be a loser. As long as you stay within your risk management, you shall be okay. So let's look at yesterday. First and foremost, I had marked up my chart to take a bearish move, all right, for this New York session. I trade the New York session. My favorite session is the New York session. So I marked up my chart to take a bearish move from around about here. This was where I was taking my move from, or my stop loss was at least a bit above this level here. But I was conflicted between the bulls going higher and the bears going lower. So when I started to see this push up, I assumed that price actually was choosing the bearish move, when in actual fact, price was going bearish. So what did I do? There's two things you can do in trading. You can panic, or you can stay cool and make the right decision. And what I did here, guys, is rather than losing my head, I cooled down, thought about it, and I realized that my initial direction, as you can see on my directional bias yesterday, you'll see that I chose the bears. So I went against my assessment because of what I thought I'd seen, when in actual fact, I should have stuck with my assessment. So here's what we need to first just kind of get from a psychological perspective. Stick with your trading plan, right? That's the first thing. I went against my plan yesterday. On another day, it could have hurt me. Fortunately for me, it didn't. I was able to get back in the right direction that that aligned with my plan. So you've got to stick with your plan, right? This is how you can turn a losing trade into a winning day. Stick with your plan, right? Stick with your trading plan and don't go against your assessment. Once you assess, stick to your trade. Now, number two, something I always kind of advised that I didn't go with yesterday was you have a stop loss for a reason. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to enter a trade and your trade stop loss, for example, like mine, was above here, further down about here, right? This stop loss represents the invalidation of your trade. In other words, if price breaks beyond this high, your trade is invalidated. If you close the trade, this is what I did. I was bearish with this setup yesterday, and I closed the trade because I assumed price was going that way. So I closed the trade somewhere here, right? Therefore, I have cut myself short because I haven't allowed the market to prove me wrong. Every day you get into the market, you're going to assess the market either to go bullish or to go bearish, right? Or to stay out, right? The three things you're going to do when you analyze the market, you're either going to go bull, you're going to go bear, or you're going to stay out, right? So once you've assessed and you've followed your rules to the T, there's only one thing left for you to do. You place your trade, you set, and you forget. You set and forget. And forget, okay? This is important. Set and forget. So you stick with your trading plan. You have a stop loss for a reason. You set and forget. Let the price action prove you wrong. If you have a plan that you know works, that you know is profitable, that you know is repeatable, then you must learn to set your trade and forget it. Yesterday, unfortunately, for whatever reason, I didn't do that. For whatever reason, I chose to try and be a bit too intricate and try and go against my plan. And by going against my plan, I set myself up to lose unnecessarily. But, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you realize that you've gone against these 3 rules, stick to your trading plan, you've gone against not allowing price to at least get to your stop loss, or you've set it, but you haven't forgotten it. And because you're looking at it, you're now being persuaded otherwise. You must, there's something called flipping the trade. If you realize that you've got your trade wrong, trade was wrong. And you know, for example, like I did yesterday, that actually my trade, the impulse move that I took was the wrong move, especially when I know I was in the right move. What do? Flip the trade. Flip the trade. Very simple. Flip the trade. Remember, price, majority of the time, is either going up or is going down. You will at times see price go sideways, but majority of the time, price is going either up or down. If price isn't going up, surely it must be going down. Okay. So again, just trying to look at the market from a simplistic view, trying to be very logical when we come into the market. Don't overcomplicate it. You've done an assessment. You think your assessment's bearish, stick to that. Right? You've done an assessment. You think your assessment's bullish, stick to that. You've done an assessment. You think your assessment, the market, you don't feel like you need to be in the market, then don't be in the market. It's okay. It's okay, right? So just again, just a quick video just to say, look, there's a losing trade doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a losing day, right? You don't have to have a losing day because you have a losing trade. So the key to this is risk management. If you lose trade 1, right? Go again, trade 2. As long as you stay within your risk for the day. I think this is important. Hence the reason why when you trade, guys, trading less is more. Why? Because I only trade this New York session. So I give myself the best opportunity to, if I miss it on the first one, I'm going to go again on the second one, right? Depending on what your risk is. Maybe you give yourself 3 trades a day, right? If you miss it on the first, you miss it on the second, you can go to the third. But if you, for example, are more known to trade in New York, but then you try to trade, London and Asia, then try and trade New York, you're selling yourself short, because what you're doing is you're ticking off, you're risking, you're taking your risk too soon. So I always encourage people, less is more. Trade 1 session, 1 pair, right? And even have 1 entry time frame that you will trade regardless. So I trade 1 pair, 1 session, 1 time frame. So what do? I reduce the amount of times I need to be at the charts. I reduce the hours I need to be at the charts. And I just enjoy trading as a part-time thing that can produce full-time results. I hope that makes sense, guys. Less is more. So number 1, stick with your trading plan. Number 2, you have a stop loss for a reason. I would encourage you, if you're in a trade that you know you've analyzed, have the confidence to let the market play out. You have a stop loss for a reason. Let the market play out. And how do you do that? By setting your trade and then forgetting about it. All right. Now, if you recognize that your trade was wrong, because you've gone against it, or you've just done something wrong, you can recognize that something's gone wrong there, then you can flip the trade. You can go from buying it over here to selling it over here. It's very straightforward. So don't overcomplicate trading. You're either going to be a buyer or a seller, and being able to discover who the dominant force is going to be the difference between your success in trading. Guys, I hope this has helped turn your winners into losers. And a losing day does not necessarily mean a losing week. A losing trade doesn't mean a losing day. A losing day doesn't mean a losing week. A losing week does not mean a losing month. And a losing month does not mean a losing year. Do you know what's so common in all of that? That you will most definitely lose. It's trading. Trading will produce losses because that's how it goes. That is the game. Your thing is, can I be profitable even with my losses? And if the answer is yes, then you are onto something special. All right, guys, peace out. Have a great weekend. See you next.